Lecture number 10. What I am talking about, I am more interested in over here. Now, in the last lecture, we talked about that E was equal to 2 by pi into flux phi into omega. This was the EMF equation for P equal to 2 and a single loop. Agreed? This was it. So, just for confirmation, if you want to go back over there, the formula for a single loop was 2 by pi into flux phi into omega. Omega m is actually the motor speed. You can just use omega also. It's totally up to you. But we also had the general formula also. So if you remember it, for E was equal to phi p by omega, by pi into omega into p. So if you put p equal to 2, this becomes equal to 2 by pi into phi into omega. And the same one was for the torque. The torque was equal to 2 by pi into flux phi into Ia, and this was for P equal to 2 and a single loop. Now for single loops, these are completely okay, no issues in that. But in practical machine, as I told you a model also and showed you in your hand also, that there are many number of loops over there, or there are like Z number of conductors in your machine. So how we are going to find out the total equivalent torque or the total equivalent EMF from that machine? So for this purpose, we are going to do the very same thing which we did in the last lecture, lecture number 8 I am talking about. We started on, supposingly if I am talking about this E, I had E equal to VBL. I am not talking about that cross product and dot product, assuming that you are getting the whole EMF over there. So this was VBL, and over here you replace this one by R omega BL over there. So this was the EMF induced in one conductor. This was the conductor EMF that was induced over there. And if you remember your last calculation, we had your AP. What was AP? AP was equal to 2 pi RL divided by P. And why this was used over there? This was used because flux phi was equal to B into AP. You can use that as phi P also. Phi p and phi, they both are interchangeably used in your book. So based on this equation over there, we had phi p equal to b dot 2 pi RL divided by p. So from here, if I want to find out b would be equal to phi p into p divided by 2 pi RL. So you have this b over there, and if you put in this equation, so you have your conductor equal to R omega, and for B you have this as phi p into p over 2 pi RL into L. So this L and N cancelled, and your E conductor is equal to, you have this as P by 2 pi RL, or sorry, L is not there, into R omega. Sorry, R is also cancelled also, sorry. R is also cancelled. So I have over here, I have this as P divided by 2 pi into phi p into omega over here. I've done some mistake over here. Why I have a different formula over here? जी, तो मुझे बताएगा, is there any difference over here? Or if you remember this formula, your E total was equal to phi p into omega, pi divided by pi into omega into p. But here in my this relation, I have p over 2 pi. कोई बताएगा ऐसा क्यों है? There is a difference over here. Again, conductor. I can't hear it. Conductor over here, this equation over here for your this relation was for total loop. I am over here only interested in the one conductor EMF. So if I multiply it by 2, this 2 will be gone. Okay? But I am only interested in the conductor over here, because I am going to multiply this conductor. Let me write it again. This is the conductor over here. So this is P by 2 pi into phi p into omega. Now, if I want to find out the total EMF, which I am going to call as EA, I guess you have done your lab experiment, so you are aware what is EA. EA is the induced EMF or your back EMF in our machines. So this EA would be equal to E conductor multiplied by number of conductors in one parallel path. Agreed? Because your machine is going to have a parallel paths in your machine. So if I go back on your solution over here, here we discussed this one, that if any machine has a number of parallel paths, if I had supposingly Z conductors in my machine, Z by 2 are here, Z by 2 are here. If A is equal to 1, then all of them are Z in series. But this A can be 2, it can be 4, it can be 3, depending upon your design of winding. So over here, when I am interested in this one, so this means that if I want to find out EA, this will be equal to E conductor multiplied by Z divided by A. Because I am talking about a generic expression here. If I had number of parallel paths equal to 2, this means that Z conductors would be divided in 2 parallel paths, keeping the symmetry. But here this is Z divided by A over here. So this means that I will be having EA. Now I can write this equation over here. This is P by 2 pi into flux phi P into omega into Z by A. So now this is an expression, and I can now have some constants combined together. This is ZP over 2 pi A. Now I have combined all of them together. Why? Because what is P? Number of poles. It will not change if the machine is working and you are not opening it and not changing any manufacturing thing. 2 pi, constants over there, numerical constants. A also constant because you are not changing the winding. So, and Z, you are also not changing it. So this ZP divided by 2 pi A is a machine constant which is not going to change unless and until you are changing the machine or opening it and then rewinding it or doing some mechanical changes over there. So again I have this relation over here as EA equal to ZP divided by 2 pi A multiplied by phi P into omega. So now this relation is telling you, and I can write this equation as K phi P into omega, where K is the machine constant over here. And this K will be constant for a particular machine. Similarly, in the lab, on which machines you are working, if you can count the number of Z inside your machine, you know how many poles are there. Gee, please, now you are doing experiment. This is the 5th week in the lab. तो मुझे बताएगा कि DC machines are of how many number of poles? जी, किसी ने पूछने का भी तकल्लुफ़ किया हो मिस तरीना से, या मिस तरीना को पता है, she has been my student, so I know. हैं? मैम ने क्या था? नहीं, थ्योरी में हम जेनेरिक पढ़ रहे हैं, we are not talking about the lab. अच्छा, I am not going to answer this. Go and see and ask her, ठीक है? You will get an idea. I don't know, she has shown you an open machine over there, but if she has shown you, then ask her. Maybe one machine is open. Ask her just to take that rotor out of that stator over there, and when you can see inside the stator, you can easily find out how many number of poles are there. But sadly, I still know the number of poles, but I don't know the value of Z, because those machines are not made by me and I have not rewinded them. So if I know that Z, then I can find out this K. So this K is the machine constant, and this EA, as it tells you over here, that this EA is again proportional to your phi P, which is the flux per pole, and EA is proportional to omega. So I guess from where we started on, if you remember this one, as I just start, so this one over here, this one was also a machine constant, this one was also a machine constant. But it was only a constant value. Why? Because it was only one single coil. But now what I have over here, I have ZP over 2 pi A over here, and this is again another constant. And why? Because this K is a machine constant. Now over here in this relation, if you can see, I have omega. And one thing very, very important, these omegas are always in the units of radians per second. Please don't do this mistake of writing any other thing apart from these units in your numericals or anywhere. Now question over here, can you convert this omega into some n? What is n? N is revolutions per minute and omega is in having a radians per second. Gee, can anyone tell me how you can convert this omega into n? Again? Gee, 2 pi by 60, 2 pi n by 60. So omega is equal to 2 pi n by 60. N is what? N is revolutions per minute. Okay? So 2 pi is the number of radians in one complete revolution. So if you have supposedly a machine which is supposedly working at 1500, supposedly, if I have an example, like your lab machines have a rated speed of 1500 RPM. कोई बताएगा मुझे लैब के अंदर जनरेटर स्पीड क्या रेटेड? नेम प्लेट जाके पड़ी है अभी तक लैब की, क्या लगी है? तो वही मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, हैव यू गॉन थ्रू दैट नेम प्लेट और नॉट? व्हाट इज द जनरेटर स्पीड? दिस इज द मोटर स्पीड ऑफ योर लैब. ये आप लोगों को, आई डोंट नो मिस्टर रीना हैज आस्क्ड यू और नॉट, बिकॉज देयर इज द फर्स्ट एक्सपेरिमेंट ऑलवेज वेयर यू हैव टू राइट डाउन द नेम प्लेट रेटिंग्स ऑफ एवरी मशीन इन द लैब. हैं, लिखी हुई है, याद होनी चाहिए. यू आर डूइंग एक्सपेरिमेंट्स ऑन दोज मशीन्स. द रेटेड स्पीड इन योर लैब फॉर योर मशीन्स इज 1800 RPM. कोई मुझे बताएगा व्हाई देयर इज अ डिफरेंस इन दीज टू? एक मशीन एज अ मोटर काम कर रही है, देन इट इज जस्ट 1500 RPM. वन मशीन व्हेन इट इज वर्किंग एज अ जनरेटर इट इज 1800 RPM. कैन यू टेल मी रीजन फॉर दिस डिफरेंस? व्हाई? नहीं, लोड से क्या ताल्लुक है इसका? वन इज अ मोटर रेटेड. व्हाट डज रेटेड मीन ओवर हियर? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल गिव मी एन आंसर. व्हाट डज रेटेड मीन? जी, not maximum. Maximum can be even more than 2000 in some cases. Rated over here means, ये आपने fan कभी buy करने जाओ, you buy this CFLs or this fan or whatever, on its nameplate there is always a rated value. This means that this is the value at which it is designed for. Which means that if you are going to buy a fan from market and it's written 230 volt, this means that it is going to take 230 volt and that much of RPM is going to be output from that fan. Similarly, when you are going to run this machine, the armature voltage which is given as VA, ठीक है जी, armature voltage कितनी है? 160 volts. And what about the field voltage? 190. चलो at least कुछ तो याद है. And what about the armature current? 320? Not 3.7. 3.7 is only for one machine, that is the series motor over there. Otherwise this is limited to only 3.5 ampere. Can you tell me the field current? It is rated at 150 milliampere, but since these machines have been working on from the last 20 years, so now they have little different resistance over there. Now what does this rated mean? This rated means that your machine, if it is going to work as a motor, now listen this carefully, you are going to apply 160 volts over there, you are going to apply 190 volts over there. These are the applied voltages. Now if you are going to put a load on that machine, since you are trying to work it as a motor, the motor can take a maximum current of 3.5 ampere when it is loaded. When it will be unloaded or it will be at no load condition, it will be only taking 0.8 or 0.9 ampere. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि it is going to take 3.5 ampere instantaneously at that time. ये बिल्कुल इसी तरह से है your fan. If you are running it without the blades, there is no load on the blade or on the motor over there. So there is no air pressure on the fan. So it's not going to take a little bit of power just as the friction power over there. Otherwise there is going to be no losses. But in the lab, when you are going to apply a load, this current will then exceed to 3.5 ampere. Otherwise it will just be 0.8, 0.9 or maybe like maximum 1 ampere. But since in the lab, if you have seen this, you have a motor and a generator coupled together. So there is a load attached a little bit, even if the generator is not working. So there is a shaft, there is a moment which is actually working over there. So practically it will be taking some like 1.7, 1.8 ampere current, but when you are going to start your generator and start loading it, you are going to have this current. So there is a limitation of 3.5 ampere. If you will go beyond it, the armature winding will be damaged. Next thing, field winding. Field winding has a current of 150 milliampere rated, but now in some machine it goes on to even 200 milliampere because of its aging process or whatever. So these currents are also the maximum limits. Remember one thing, whenever on a device there is a voltage rating and a current rating written, this means that you are going to apply that voltage and maybe it takes that current or maybe it does not take. Maybe when the load is applied, then it will take that current. So these CFLs, there is actually no load on it, but maybe when you are going to start it, the fluorescence is not going to be enough because they are CFLs. You have seen it, it is dim and then it goes bright because of the fluorescence or the whatever process taking place. So initially maybe it is just taking like 0.1 or 0.2 ampere current, and then maybe after a little bit heating up it goes on to 0.25 or 0.3. So the load is over here, the load current which is dependent upon the load. Now coming on to why this rating is different for 1500 and 1800 RPM. When you are going to run this machine as a motor, you have to apply these VA and VF. Now when you are going to run this one as a generator, you want this voltages as an output from your machine. Okay? You want a 160 volt output from the machine, from the armature, because you are going to run it as a generator. So you will have to apply a little bit more RPM, more power, so that after the losses inside the machine, you get this 160 volt as an output. Because we know EA is equal to K phi omega. So if you increase omega, your EA will be increased. But that EA has to pass through the resistance of your windings, has to go through some friction losses, some eddy currents or whatever that are taking place if there is a variable function over there. So this 1800 RPM is the rated speed for a generator so that it can give a 160 volt as an output. So when you are going to apply this one, you may not be even getting 15 RPM. So it will be a little less, but at no load it will be giving 15 RPM. Now there are two standards in Pakistan. Normally in Pakistan, whenever you are going to buy a device, आप एक fan buy करोगे, on it will be written like 1485 RPM. Now 1485 will be the no load speed. But when you are going to apply load on it, it will be a little less. So at no load it will still be 15 RPM, but when you will apply load, it will do this. So in the experiments of your lab, you are actually trying to find out that what is the speed regulation. I hope you have been told this term. What is your speed regulation? And what is that speed regulation over here in percentage? This is actually, if you are talking in terms of your N, this will be actually at no load minus N full load divided by, now here in the denominator, it is totally up to you. You want to use NL or FL. It's totally up to you. Why? Because if you go in West or somewhere in Europe, they normally write down the rated speed as the full load speed. But in Pakistan, there are like two structures going on. We normally write down the no load speed. So आपको अक्सर पंखों के ऊपर the rated speed is the no load speed written over there. But when you will apply load on it, it will certainly drop over there. So for all types of machines, you are trying to find out percentage speed regulation over here, and the same formula can be written as for your omega. This will be omega no load minus omega full load divided by omega no load multiplied by again into 100%. Okay. Please do a very, very good thorough understanding of your lab experiment. Just don't go there to fill your tables and do that experiment. Please understand it. I have asked and told Ms. Tarina also that when you are going to have a performance evaluation, I will be there. Okay? And I don't need to tell that I am fond of that. I've done this lab from the last 12, 13 years. But now since I have other labs also, the Makers Lab or other courses, that's why I normally don't teach that lab. Otherwise, I have been there in the last 15, 16 years. Please, whenever you are there, even if you are like 4 or 5 students in the group, the purpose of having 3 or 4 students in the group is this, that if 2 students are working, one is keeping an eye that your protection is there, because you are working at 160, 190 volts. So the wires will be coming out, one person will be actually hanging or putting a hand on that so that the wires don't come out, and maybe the 4th person is going to note down those reading or whatever. So please, you have like, I don't know, you are doing this lab in parts or like 3 hours full. You are doing 3 hours full or half class is coming in 1.5 hours, half class is coming in 1.5. 3 hours. So 3 hours you have over there. So please, even you have done the experiment, do take another set of readings. Okay? Because in performance evaluation, you just be given like 10 to 15 minutes and you will have to not perform the whole experiment. I'm not asking in performance evaluation a whole experiment. You will be asked to run a machine at some certain type of load or some certain value of load, and you will have to give that do that value over there. So it's very important, please. This is the only power lab in our department which has so much adequate equipment that many universities are following us. This is very important. You may ask any of the private sector universities. I have built a lab just like almost same like this at LUMS back few years back, but still they are not at par to us. Our lab is still the best in, at least in Punjab over here, maybe at NAD or maybe at any other university it's there. So please utilize this lab. We have all types of machines, so try to understand what is happening over there. Otherwise, when you are going to do a job in the industry, so then at that time, sir, हमने तो आज तक ये machine खोली भी नहीं है या देखी भी नहीं है. So please have a thorough understanding and hands-on experience. For your information, when I was a student of this department, the same lab was there, and my teacher at that time, Akhtar Hussain Saab, very nice teacher one, he was the only one who allowed us to actually work on those machines over there. Otherwise, my session fellows or before my session, you can ask any of the senior teachers who are senior than me, you can ask them, they used to stand like 5 to 6 feet away from the lab equipment, and the lab staff was doing the experiment and telling you, okay, at 120 milliampere, this is the value of E, 130 milliampere, this is the value. When I became a teacher like 16, 15 years back, then I initiated it that it should be done, that students should be. And that's why now the values of the field current and all other things, they are on disaster time. Because students are working on it and they are damaging it or whatever. But still, it's the best lab still over there. So please utilize this lab so that you can have an understanding what is happening inside. Okay? Okay, so I hope this is clear. So you can convert your omega into n or n into omega, and you have EA equal to K phi omega, and this EA is the same thing that is your induced EMF, or it is also the back EMF. And I hope I don't need to tell what is the difference between induced EMF and back EMF. You have done this in the lab. Okay? So there is a very thorough understanding. Okay, now the next thing over here, I am more interested in also the torque. So if you remember your torque equation, if I go back on your over here, your torque expression which we did over there was 2 by pi into phi into IA, and we did this one based on this assumption that your torque was equal to, total torque was equal to phi p into I divided by pi. This was the total torque for a coil or a loop over there. Now if I go with the same analogy, if you remember it, torque was equal to R cross F. And if I am not interested in the vectors over there, so this is certainly RILB over here. And if I don't derive it again and I just use this B over here from this relation, B is equal to phi P into P. So I have this B is equal to phi P into P divided by 2 pi RL. And if I put this one, this is equal to R I L into phi P into P divided by 2 pi RL. This is R and L cancelled. So this is the torque over here, which is equal to certainly P over 2 pi into phi P into I. Now this torque over here, which I am talking about, is the conductor torque. Okay, not the loop one. Because for the loop, I had R cross F, F was equal to 2 ILB. Okay? This is only for one conductor. Why I am doing this one? Because this is again for one conductor. So if I am trying to find out the total torque, this will be equal to the torque of one conductor multiplied by the number of conductors in your machine. Now over here, how many number of conductors are inside your machine? If I see over here, if I go back on my lecture number 8, in this one, how many number of conductors were there? There was Z number of conductors. And how they were arranged? They were arranged in Z by 2 over here. Now, when they are arranged in Z by 2, will it change the number of conductors? No. Why? Because this will be having a torque. This will also be having a torque. This conductor, all these 4, or in fact all these 8 coils are going to have a torque being produced. The only thing that is important changing over there, that all of these coils or conductors are not having the same value of current flowing through them. Why? In this machine, if I had supposedly 10 ampere current flowing inside, 5 ampere will flow over here, 5 ampere will flow over here. If it was simple single, then yes, there will be 10 ampere current flowing over there. So when there are many number of parallel paths, you have to decide what value of current is flowing inside one parallel path. So this means that if I have this one over here, this current over here, I, is not just going to be I over there, this is going to be called as multiplied by IA divided by A. What is IA? Armature current. And how many number of parallel paths are there inside your machine? IA divided by A. So this is your armature current flowing in one parallel path over there. So now if I want to multiply it by the number of conductors in machine, my T total, that is the torque over here, certainly the same equation, I am taking it from here. So this will be equal to P by 2 pi into flux phi P into IA divided by A, and I'm just going to multiply it by Z. Why? Because there are Z conductors inside your machine and each conductor is having a current IA divided by A. So now I have this, if I again write it on, this is going to be equal to, I'm combining this Z and P divided by 2 pi A multiplied by phi P into IA. So I have this relation now, and if you see very closely over there, this one is again the same machine constant you have done just previously. So in the previous relation, this one was ZP divided by 2 pi A, we call this one as K. So similarly now I have this total torque equal to K phi P into IA. So what this is telling me, that your total torque is proportional to again your flux, and it is also proportional to your current IA. The rest of them are machine constants and they are not changing. So now you have two relations over there. One relation is this, and the other relation we have just proved previously is equal to K phi P into omega. One thing very important, you can even use just phi also, it's the same thing. क्यों? कैसे? Number of conductors in the whole machine. If I go back over there, this is your EMF lecture. How many number of conductors are there in this machine? Z here, Z here. Okay? The only thing changing over here is this, that in these conductors and these conductors, the current is divided half. Here it is full. So this current will be IA divided by 2, this will be IA divided by 2. Here this will be IA. Okay? So the number of conductors is still the same. That will be multiplied by Z. The only thing changing is this IA divided by 2 or IA divided by A, which I have done over here in this relation. So I multiplied this one by IA divided by. Otherwise, the number of conductors in the machine remains the same. This is equal to Z. So I have now these two relations. That is EA is equal to K phi omega, or torque total is equal to K phi IA. And one relation which I just missed on, that omega, as I just told you, this was equal to 2 pi n divided by 60. So if you put this one in this relation, you have EA equal to, let me write down the full over here because there is going to be some cancellation done. So this will be phi into 2 pi n divided by 60. So now this 2 pi and 2 pi cancelled. So you have EA equal to ZP divided by 60A into flux phi into N. So I can call this one another parameter K dash into flux phi into N over here. Same thing, but this time there is N over there, which is the revolutions per minute speed over there. Previously this was K phi omega, now this is K dash phi N over there. And you require, these three equations are always required to answer any short questions or any other answer inside your generator or motor short question. Okay? So if you want more output from your generator, you have to increase the flux. If you want more output from your generator, you have to increase the speed. Similarly, you want more output from your motor, you require more flux. You want more output from your motor, you have to put more amperes inside it. But certainly, yes, that ampere current has to be within the threshold limits of your winding. Just like this lab, as I just told you, that in the lab you have a 3.5 ampere current rating. For the series machine, yes, someone told over here that there is the 3.7 ampere is the current rating for the series machine. So that's why it is having a 3.7 ampere. It's a little different from the other one, but otherwise the normal value inside your lab equipment over there for the armature current is 3.5 amperes. जी किसी को पता है हमारी लैब की मशीन्स कितने वॉट की हैं? हाउ मच वॉट्स आर देयर इन आवर लैब मशीन्स? करंट की बात कर ली हमने, यहाँ पे सबकी बात कर ली. व्हाट अबाउट द पावर रेटिंग? All those orange color machines inside your lab with adequate size, they are like 400 watts of the power over there. They are like student made, they are not industrial grade, and deliberately also, since you will be also trying to find out the efficiency of those machines, so their power is small and their losses are also a little larger than the normal one, so that you can have an adequate number of value and you can measure it. So power rating of those machines is just limited to like 400 watts of power over there. The motor rated speed is 15 RPM, the generated rated speed is 1800 RPM over here. Ji, any questions with this, Ji? Up till this point. This is article number 7.5 from your Chapman, and yes, this is 7.5 from your Chapman. Please kindly go through example number 7.3 and 7.4. In fact, 7.3 I actually did in the very start, where we calculated the total number of conductors Z over there. And kindly, one thing very important, please link up this 2CNC with your lecture number 9A over here. This was your lecture 9A, I guess. And I hope all of you have seen through this one. I gave a very deliberately one. So this was the lab finding. How many have seen this lecture? 1, 2, 3. Got the idea what I meant by this one? I gave a very elaborate one. So I'm not doing this in the class because this is a little lengthier process. I'm just giving the recording over there. How many coils are there inside this winding? Yes, 10, because it's a single layer winding. Okay? So 9B will be actually related to your duplex winding. And then I will be talking, since 10 is done, 11 will be about the wave winding, and as soon this will be done, I will give you an assignment number 2. Meanwhile, do this assignment number 1 which I have given over there. So please, in your assignment there will be a number of slots given to you. You have to do all this calculation, you have to draw this winding table, you have to draw this developed diagram, and then also this parallel path diagram also. So there will be like 5 or 6 questions related to this one. So you have to draw it one, and you have to draw it by hand. I am also drawing it over there, so don't use some, you can use the vertical lines, but somehow you have to do this one over there. Any questions from this one, Ji? क्या लिया करंट को? Here? Okay. देखो, ये देखो, again, good question. 1, 6, 3, 8, 5, 10. How many conductor or coil sides are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Easily telling you that one is having more conductors, other one is having less conductors. So the resistance of this one is certainly higher as compared to this one. So what will happen? You will have less current in this one and a higher current in this one. So what will happen if you have supposedly 20 ampere coming inside? So what you want, you have 4 parallel paths. You want 5 ampere, 5 ampere, 5 ampere, 5 ampere. But what will happen? That you will be having like something 6 or 7 ampere here, maybe like 4 here, then again, 6 over here, 4 over here, 6 here, 4 over here. So this is an unequal symmetrical. So what will happen? The whole rotor, if I go back to your rotor over here, this rotor, when it will be rotating, what will happen? At some point torque will be more, at some point torque will be less, at some point torque will be more, and the back side it will be less. So what will happen? The motor will be having jerks. It will not be a uniform torque. Still be rotating, and what will happen also, that the winding which is having less resistance, since it has more current flowing through it, it will have a little bit more losses also, and secondly it will also be heated up. So this is a non-uniform machine. So that's why this winding failed at the very end. There are 3 steps of winding failure. The first one, the winding table is never made, And how a winding table is made, you start from 1, you end at 1. This is the first check. Second check, that when you are going to put this arrowheads, in the north you are putting it up, in the south you are putting it down. You can change it vice versa, it's totally up to you. So you have these carbon brushes. Now by seeing these carbon brushes, you can easily get an idea that they are not equally spaced. So you are getting an idea that there is going to be some problem. But just as a check, you will draw the parallel path diagram, and this easily tells you that here there are 6 conductors, coil sides, here there are 2 coil sides, or 44 coil sides over there. So there is a mismatch over there. So if a winding has to be legible and you can do that winding, you have to do up till the parallel path diagram that your winding is doable or not. नहीं, draw it. Try to draw the same winding with 6 and 4. आप क्या करोगे? Whenever you have an even number, you are not going to fill all the slots. देखो ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि if I have this 20 slots over there, in these 20 slots, 1 plus what was the value over here? 1 plus 6. So it will be 1 plus 7, 7 minus 4, it will be 3. So all odd number slots will be complete. Even number complete ही नहीं होंगे. 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever. So they will never be complete. So your value of YB and YF, they have to be 7 and 5 or 5 and 3. Now I told you that normally 5 and 3, they always completed. The winding is doable. But try this one, the same example with 7 and 5 yourself. Okay? And just as I guess, in your assignment also, maybe on a word page, draw these vertical lines, get it printed, and everyone can use it, and then draw it by your own hands how this. Please see how this winding is being done over here. You have to make it legible, so this is readable. Since you are going to do it by hand, so please have this diagram as neat as possible, and you can use colors over here to differentiate from one, because this is a single layer. If it was a 2-layer winding or a duplex winding, which I will be showing in 9B, then it will be a little different. Okay? So in that one you have to also use 2 colors or a different nomenclature. By nomenclature I mean that here I am using a dark line. In the next one I will be using a dotted line. Okay? I will show this one in 9B. Lecture is recorded. I will upload it today hopefully. So you can see that one. So please kindly go through this windings. I am doing this one over here, and this lecture number 2. So hopefully from chapter number 7 I will be doing one more lecture which is related to LDI by dt and the armature reaction, which is very, very important. So hopefully I guess next coming Friday. Okay? Today is Monday, so coming Friday. And before that I will be uploading this 9B and lecture number 11 related to your wave windings.